to go a step further because, I know that you know, and I know the word of God tells us that the just shall live by faith, right? Yeah. The just shall live by faith. That's what it says. That's what the word of God tells us. But, it seems as though so many times we tend to believe or we tend to that we can get by not with faith but by our works, and you say, well, what makes you think that? I mean, oftentimes when things don't go our way, when bad things happen, or when circumstances arise, we have a tendency to say and or think, but Lord, I've been serving you, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. And we think that that ought to exempt us from hardship, from hard times, from trials and tribulations. Matter of fact, I heard Erica this morning. She was talking, or she had somebody on, and she was saying, that when we get saved, or when some folks get saved, it seems as though they think that, they're not going to have any issues, any problems, any whatever the case may be. No, no. When you get saved, that's when the devil is most busy because he's trying to destroy you. He's trying to detour you. He's trying to distract you. He's trying to get you off course. And he knows that his best way, his best tactic is soon as you get saved, throw a whole bunch of hell your way. Soon as you start trying to live right, soon as you say, you know what, I'm going to stop whatever it is that you do. I don't profess to know anybody's business, but whatever it is you do, smoking, drinking, gambling, sexing, lying, cheating, stealing, whatever. I don't know, you know, whatever your thing is that, and you say, oh Lord, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to get serious and I'm going to do your will. That's when the enemy comes your way and says, oh yeah, I gotta stop that. I'm gonna make life harder for you just because you say that's what you want to do. Yeah, see if you really want to do that after I throw this your way, right? Okay. So now that we've covered that, crossed that bridge, let's take it a step further. Um, we think again, this is where I started off. We think that because we're doing good or because we have decided to do good, that things ought to be good for us. However, it is not by the law. It is not by works. It's not by any of those things by which we are saved or which we have, like none of that stuff does it for us. You want to know what does it for us? It's faith. Faith. So let me ask you the question then. Let me ask you the question, you know, if you have faith, right? Like I shared this with you all earlier, and I told you all. I said make sure you're checking up on people. Make sure you're praying for folks, and not just praying, but that you are actually, checking on them and encouraging them because there's so many depressed and sad and mad people, and some of them just need somebody to talk to. Some of them just need somebody to listen or to give an encouraging word to them because without your encouraging word, they may just go and pick up that gun. They may just go and I'm gonna just say it plainly, blow their own brains out or whatever the case may be. They may pick up that bottle of pills and because see, here's the thing: not everybody is as strong as you may be. Not everybody is as strong. I mean, and so We have to get out of this thing of oh, I'm gonna pray and have faith that God's, but then don't put in the work with it. And this isn't even where my message was gonna go. I've got something else that the Lord's taken me, or whether He showed me earlier, and I'm gonna deal with that probably in coming days. But I'm gonna deal with where He has me now. We have to be and do a better job of when God puts people on our hearts and on our minds, of not just saying, Lord, touch them, bless them, lift them, encourage. No, you've got to get into a position or into a place to where you say, okay, let me call this person. And I am one of the worst at it. I'm one of the worst at it. Listen, there is, a matter of fact, a phone call that I have been meaning to make for months now, I believe. Brother called me. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm at about 2 months now. He called me right after New Year's, and I was supposed to call him back. Left me a voicemail. I was supposed to call him back, and still haven't. And it's not that it's just I understand. I guess that's why I'm telling you as God's telling me. We've got to do a better job of checking up on people, and not just oh, how you doing, and then don't have nothing else to say. We've got to be able to, okay, all right, listen to what the Lord is saying, and then give them whatever word it is that they need. Allow them to share and be vulnerable, and be as you know plain as they can be with you, and then you say, okay, I hear you. Well, here's what the Word of God says, or here's what I hear God saying in this moment. Let me encourage you this way. Again, it's not just enough. And I know I've been preaching hard, hard, hard on faith, but I've got to give you the other side of that. It's great to have faith, especially in your own life, and to believe that things are going to come to pass. But what works are you also putting with that faith? What works are you putting with it? I can sit here all day, and I can believe that I will be filled, that I will be full, right? And I can sit here all day, or better yet, let's just be more real. I can sit in this chair all day and just believe that I'm going to lose weight. Oh, I've got faith that I'm going to lose weight, and that I'm going to have a six pack, and that I'm going to, that ain't my goal, but I just believe. But if I never get up out of this chair, if I never put any action to it, then what good is my faith? The Word of God tells us faith without works is dead. So then if you say this, and I'm still quoting the Word of God, you have faith, and I say I have works, but I never put the two of them together, then what good is any one of them? There are people who do good and don't have the faith or don't believe. You know what I mean? And they just do good. That's it. They have their philanthropy, or they do their good, and that's that. But we've got to do all of it. We've got to put it all together. And I want to encourage somebody on today. I've got to encourage somebody on today. We've got to put our faith and our actions together. When I look back, I look back over all the stuff that I trusted God for, that I believed God for, that He promised that He would do, and how He promised He would come through. When I look at all those things, and I look at it and I say, okay, I had to put some work in to get there. If I never put in the work, how would I ever have gotten there? God gave me a vision of a book. I've shared this before. He gave me a vision of several books, right? But let me start with my first one. If I never wrote down the first word, I never would have had the first book. If I'm working on the second book, as slow as I'm working, on the second book. And if I never had started to put pen to paper for the first sentence, I wouldn't be 12, 13, 14 chapters in on writing this book, you know? But you've got to at least put some action into it. Faith without works is dead. Works without faith is just that, works. So what am I saying? We've got to begin to put all of this together. And my mind, my heart, my all of it, it goes out to those folks who I see who are homeless. And when I see them, I'll be like, Lord, you know, bless them. And then, they come up to me and be like, hey, you got some change? You got some change? And I'll be like, you know, I generally don't. Like, if they catch me just out walking, I don't have change generally. But I know in my car, I do, right? And so anytime they catch me near the car, I'll be like, yeah, here you go. And I reach down in there and that little change bit in the car, and I give them whatever I got. Now, I remember one day, I had just bought me some boudin, and a couple of brothers who were homeless came up and they was like, "Hey man, you got some change, this, that, and the other." I was like, "Yeah, man, come on." I reached down there into my little change thing in the car, gave them everything I had, almost gave them a button, but I knew they didn't need that, so I kept the button to myself and gave them all the change after I had just put the boudin in the car. And then I got in the car, and the Lord was like, "Why you didn't give them the food? Why did you didn't give them the boudin?" I was like, Lord, you right. And by this time, the brothers had taken off and they was up the road. So I got, and I sped around the corner and I said, hey, man, y'all hungry? And he was like, yeah, man, we slept over at the Civic Center last night, this, that, and the other. Man, look, here, I'm sorry I didn't get this to y'all earlier. Gave them the boudin. And I'm telling you, the boudin disappeared so quick. But here's the thing. What good was it for me? Because I instantly, as soon as I got in the car, and after while I was giving them the change, I was praying in my mind, Lord, bless these brothers. Lord, I pray that you provide. And it hit me like, you did all that, but what? We have to get into a position and a place to where we say, okay, I'm going to take this a step further. I'm not just going to pray for people that they get well or that they have the food that they need or that this happens or that happens. No, I'm going to actually go lay hands on the sick and pray that they recover. I may not be a doctor, this, that, and the other, but I know a doctor. We've got to do better than just, we see somebody homeless and hungry and we say, oh man, I pray that they get filled and find a place to stay, and go give them something to eat. Now, I'm not saying let every homeless person into your home and all of that, because I don't want nobody coming back suing me saying, oh, no, you told my mama, my grandma, my whomever to start letting homeless people in their house, and one of them people, no, I'm not telling you to do that, you know, but I'm saying we've got to begin to do a better job of not just lip service, but action with, you know what I'm saying? We've got to put it all together. And like I said, this is not even where I was going to minister from on today. As a matter of fact, like I said earlier, I was going to have us in Galatians chapter number 3, and we're going to pick up with Galatians chapter 3 on Wednesday. But I want us to talk about in Galatians I want us to look at the law, right? Versus the promise, or the law even versus faith, having faith in what God said. I told you it starts with promise, you go through process, then you walk in purpose. And so I want us to deal with that more deeply. And so I want us to go to Galatians chapter 3. But this morning, the Lord just led me in a different direction and in a different place. And so I'm a servant. All right. I'm a servant. There's a movie that I often go back and watch. And a matter of fact, I watched the third installment of the movie on last night after looking at the Super Bowl. And um, it was John Wick 3 is what I was watching. And on there, they say, I am served, so I am of service, or I have been served, rather, so I am of service, I think is what they were saying. And that's how I feel, is like the Lord has blessed me. He is, so I just serve whatever he needs, wherever he takes me, wherever he leads me. So with such being the case, I know I was going to be in Galatians, but the Lord wanted me to encourage somebody. Maybe you've been struggling with that. Maybe you've been dealing with that. You've been, seeing all this stuff going on in the world, and you're like, well, I just pray, and not even just the world. Let's put the whole world aside. You've been seeing the stuff going on in your community, and you've been seeing hungry people. You've been seeing this, that, and the other, and you don't offer them anything. You don't like, there's a family in your neighborhood that they struggle, and that they may not meet all they bills, or all they, what I mean, like, and you don't go bring over no grocery. I'm not talking about nobody, but you just sitting up as blessed as you want to be. So I just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you. We've got to begin to say, okay, Lord, how can use me to meet needs? I don't know why the Lord has me here today, but this use me to meet needs. Don't let me, Lord, just be praying about it all the time, but bless me to be a blessing. That's it. Bless me to be a blessing, right? Be like Jabez, Lord, enlarge my territories. Uh, keep me away from evil, so that I may not. Lord, bless me. So, and here's the thing, and I really want to close this, but I've got to get out everything that he's telling me. Here's the thing, and this is what I'll say about it next. We have to make sure that when God does bless us, and we've been praying and crying out, and this is why some folks hadn't been blessed yet, and you've been crying out, and you've been saying, Lord, bless me to be a blessing. The Lord knows when he bless you, you're not going to be a blessing to nobody. You're going to be trying to, but you've got to look. It's happened too many times, and too many times before. The Lord blesses me with a couple of nickels to rub together, and I give one, if not both of them nickels away. I'm just saying, because I see somebody who's in need. I don't mind being a blessing. Am I perfect at it? No, no, because I miss the mark every now and then. I'm not gonna lie to you, you know. But we have to look for those opportunities, and when God presents those opportunities, say, all right, bet I got you, Lord. And when I say bet, that just means okay, no doubt, I got you. Absolutely, for sure, Lord. However you want to, And so when the Lord gives you these opportunities, when He presents these opportunities for you to uh, be a blessing to somebody, what are you doing with it? Are you taking advantage of it? Or are you taking advantage of His goodness and His kindness? And that's one of those things. I want to encourage you. If God gives me anything, I thank Him for it, and then I don't mind if I see somebody who is in need. uh, Look, God bless you. If I can help you, God bless you. There you go. And we've got to do a better job as the body of believers, as saints. We've got to do a better job of being the hands and the feet of Jesus. We often say, "Oh, well, I did my part. I gave the tithes and the offering." That's all right. That's all right. But what are you doing to help those in your community? What are you doing to help those in your neighborhood, those who you encounter who are struggling, who just need some help? I listen. We have got to be what God has called us to be, a light. That's it. We've got to be a light. We've got to be a light. Listen, do you recognize that you are like we've said it before, and I want you to just see it, like you are the closest example to Christ that some people may ever see, and you've got to just be a willing vessel, willing to give, willing to share, willing to encourage, willing to minister, and not just say, "Man, I ain't got time for that right now. I'm on my way to such and such. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to take care of me and my family. I'm trying to, oh, be a light, be a light, be a beacon of hope for somebody." Because I'm telling you, somebody needs what you've got. Somebody needs to hear from you, needs to see, and that's just where I want to leave this on today. All right. All right, friends. Listen, I want to appreciate, or I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you um, who are tuned in, and big shout out to the Memorial family, the Memorial Health, those folks who tune in and who support from there. I greatly appreciate you all for supporting. I greatly appreciate you all for being a part of this ministry and what it is that I do, and what it is that the Lord allows me to do. Because no matter what I do, no matter what I do, it's only through God that I'm able to do it. And that's it. That's it. That's it. And so I give God praise in the midst of all of it. I give God praise because I know that I'm nothing. I couldn't preach, speak, none of that unless He gives me the okay. Unless He gives me the all right. So I just thank Him, and I thank y'all for supporting. I've been able to win, two awards, here on this radio station, here doing what it is that God has called me to do. And I don't do it for the awards. I really don't. But I appreciate them, and I appreciate you all for supporting, all of the city workers who tune in. Big shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for all that y'all do. To all my seasoned saints, thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. You know, I just feel this wave of gratitude that I want to express to each and every one of you. All right, because y'all are absolutely phenomenal. The way that you all encourage me and support me whenever y'all see me, and then I've got a couple who every now and then they think about me and they bring pecan candies and and pies and cakes and all of that. I thank y'all. I thank y'all. Y'all helped me put on some extra pounds that I didn't need, but I thank y'all anyhow. No, really, I just thank all of y'all for y'all's love and support. And I am going to um, continue to bring you this great gospel music and an encouraging word from the Lord as long as God allows. As long as He's put breath in my body, I'm going to continue to do that. Tell you what, I'm going to play a couple of songs. I want to send a shout out to Mother Audrey Lewis. And in a little bit, I'm going to play a song that she's been requesting, Cooling Water, coming up here in just a second. But I'm going to play this one. And this one is for me. I don't usually send songs out for me to me, but this one is for me. It's Molly Music, and it's simply entitled Molo, also known as